The Culture Pop Podcast is brought to you by the law offices of Jacob Emrani.
Accident or injury, call Jacob Emrani. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mase. If you or a friend or loved one is injured in an accident, the first person you should call is my friend Jacob. When I did this, Jacob was great. He helped me by talking through the next steps, which really put my mind at ease. When you're injured in an accident, you got to have an expert. That's why you call Jacob, just like I did. Call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB, or visit calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Culture Pop Podcast. I'm Steve Mason, along with Sue 𝐒𝐚𝐫𝐚𝐡. This is the show where we talk about everything happening in the world of pop culture. Cool stuff today. It's our year-end show. We're going to talk about the anniversary of one of my all-time favorite movies, also the best in TV in 2024, and we'll be joined by Sarah Armstrong to talk about what got searched the most on Google this year. Sue, Baloo, what's happening?
Not much, Steve. Just gearing up for the holidays.
Yeah, how's it coming? You ready?
I'm ready.
Now you do Christmas and Hanukkah, right?
I light a menorah, for
Yeah.
Hanukkah. We don't really do anything special.
You don't give a gift each night of the candle or any of that?
No, we don't. We don't. And you know what? I never did that my whole life, even when I was
really?
growing up.
Yeah.
No.
You never spun the dreidel?
I did spin a dreidel.
Yeah.
But we didn't get gifts 8 nights. No.
Oh, okay. But this year, now how tough is it to shop for Tom, your husband?
Very easy to shop for Tom.
Get out of here, really? Like, he's not going to hear this. What do you get him?
I'll get him clothes. I'll get him, he shops at Lowe's a lot because he's a handyman.
Okay.
So sometimes I get him a gift card at Lowe's.
Little
Or I'll
drywall?
buy little drywall. Or I'll get him a tool of some sort if he
What
needs
about
something.
a tool belt like Schneider from One Day at a Time?
No, it's so hacky. No,
Is it hacky?
Well, it's a little douchey. But I think he has a tool belt. I'm sure he does.
Okay, got it.
But I'll get him a massage sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
You
that's
know?
nice.
Yeah.
See, Juan and I do not exchange Christmas gifts because there is way too much pressure. And then January 1 is our anniversary. It's coming up 19 years on January 1. And we also don't get anniversary gifts because it's just too much pressure.
Oh,
But
okay.
Just a
But what
just a
about
few things.
birthdays? Do you get give birthday
Birthdays
gifts?
is a huge deal.
Well, how
It's
come
gotta
there's
be
no
a-
how come there's no pressure there? It's buying a gift.
It is so much pressure on birthdays. Are you kidding me? Do you know how?
So what is it? You just don't want the pressure 3 times a year?
Well, yeah, we don't want the it's like pressure for one gift. Like, for example, Juan, here's what I got him. Here are the steps I went to for his birthday, which was in November. I had these stones engraved with his name, my name, and then all of our dogs' names. Then I went and made a succulent garden, and I placed the stones among the little succulent plants, and it's a whole big succulent garden now with each of us having a stone. So that's like high pressure. You got to really deliver on the birthday.
Yeah, that's huge. But it's kind of a gift for both of you when you think about it.
It totally is. Totally. I'm
Yeah.
very sentimental. I'm a very nostalgic person, very sentimental person, and I absolutely love that. Speaking of love, one of my favorite movies of all time, the one that I love and put in my top 10 is The Matrix. Now, Sue, you had never seen The Matrix before we were going to talk about this. And just to set it up a little bit, The Matrix, the idea is that very intelligent machines have created a simulated reality to distract people so that the machines can use humans as an energy supply. Okay? So that's a very, very science fiction-y kind of description. Now, what was your take? I'm so fascinated to hear this. Your take on The Matrix.
I did not enjoy it as much as you. I appreciate the movie. I get lost in movies like that. It's kind of like I'm looking at the board in a beautiful mind, you know?
Right, sure.
Or I feel like how my parents felt when they try to help me with new math, you
Yeah,
know?
sure.
I just don't it just doesn't resonate with me, but the effects for that time were
Yeah.
amazing, and, I mean, I like the actors in it, but it's just not really my kind of movie.
Yeah, so for me, this is a very, very timely movie. First of all, you mentioned all the fight sequences. The fight sequences, especially given the fact that the movie is 25 years old, they really created a lot of the stuff. They used wire fu, where the actors and the stuntmen are, on wires and pulleys and stuff. They used karate. They used every single martial art you can think of in those fight sequences, which are incredibly cool. But for me, the heart of the movie is a spiritual one, believe it or not. This idea of red pill, blue pill
Mhm.
is, which has become, everybody knows red pill, blue pill. Blue pill is, yeah, I just want to continue to be part of this matrix. I'm totally satisfied. They're sucking energy out of me, but I'm imagining this really cool thing, this life, and I don't really want to touch it. Red pill means, oh no, I want out of the matrix. I am going to understand the true meaning and the true reality of life. And isn't it weird that in an era when we're all thinking about AI, are we that far away from intelligent machines enslaving us?
No, we're not.
We're not. It's like right there,
We're
right?
not. But you do have a like, I mean, he had a choice whether to jump on board and be a part of this, and from my understanding is that once you take whatever pill you take, that's your destiny,
Yes, correct. That is
right?
that is your life. You either wake up or you stay asleep.
So what would you have done?
Oh, I am such a red pill guy. I would so
Oh,
wanna know, and I would so wanna
and
be in those fight sequences with Agent Smith and Bullet Time and all that stuff because you get all those special powers when you check out of the Matrix, so I would love that. Would you stay as part of the machine and just enjoy things and let it go as they are?
probably.
Oh my god. I can't believe it. You're a blue pill person?
I feel like I'm a purple person. I wanna be in between.
You wanna be in there's no in between. Either wake up or stay asleep. So I was going to church a lot when this movie came out, church called Agape, and a lot of it was this idea of waking up to the reality of life, this sort of spiritual awakening you get when you take the red pill. And so for me, there's a very spiritual feeling about this movie, which is weird because it's science fiction, but that's the way I took it, this idea of a spiritual awakening. And by the way, Keanu Reeves is fantastic, and uh, Lawrence Fishburne is terrific as Morpheus. Carrie Ann Moss is Trinity. I mean, the casting is great. The Wachowskis, visionary directors. And I absolutely love this movie. And Sue, I'm sure much to your chagrin, it is one of my 10 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, well, I'd make sense for you, you know? No, because we have different tastes a lot of the
Yes,
time,
we
and
do. Yes, we do.
and I get why it is, but, you know where for someone like me, The Last Picture Show is one of my favorite movies, so
But by the way, I love The Last Picture Show. You can like both. It's
yeah,
totally
you
possible.
yeah, you could like both. I
Yeah.
just I like, kinda smaller, cozier type of films. I
Yes,
don't
I get it. I get it. So 25 years since The Matrix, worth going back and looking at it again. By the way, do not watch any of the sequels. The sequels are terrible, including the one that came out like just 2 years ago. No more sequels. The first movie is perfect. It did not require any sequels. That's my view.
So, what do you think the problem was with the sequels? And look, there are sequels that are good. Why for something like this, where the original movie was so great, what went wrong with the sequels?
They became a bunch of mumbo jumbo. They sort of expanded on the original idea, and they made Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions and Matrix Resurrections, and I just want no more Matrix. The first one is perfect. Like a lot of movies, the sequel or sequels are never as good as the original, and that's the case here too. So, yeah, anyway, love the movie. Love the movie. All right, so here we go, Sue. Best TV of 2024. We were going to do movies on our year-end show, but there are so many that we haven't seen because they haven't even been released yet. So we're going to do TV stuff that we've all seen. So, Sue, what was your favorite TV viewing experience of 2024?
God, it's a really tough one to pin down my favorite, but Penguin's up there.
Penguin's my number one.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Penguin.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Farrell's terrific. I love Christine Milioti. She's just her eyes. We've talked about it in a previous show. It's amazing and it's dark, and somehow Matt Reeves has turned the Penguin into a real character with no special powers that will ultimately face Batman. I love this from beginning to end. My favorite show of the year.
Yeah. It was very humanizing.
Yeah.
Didn't
What
really
else is on
feel.
your
Oh, what else? Okay, what else?
Yeah, what else is on your list?
I just finished watching One Day.
I don't know it.
Okay. It's with Leo Woodhall, who was in White Lotus.
Okay. Oh, I
he wa-
remember Leo Woodall. He almost came on the show. Yeah. He was the kid that turned bad at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal. And a woman named Ambika Mode. She's an Indian actress. Oh my God. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
It's based on a novel. It's a story. It's like a 20-year story between these two people who meet in college. And it is a romantic story.
Yep.
And they meet each year on the same day.
Oh, it's like same time next year.
Kind of, but it's so deep and so emotional. Where I don't want to give anything away.
No, don't give
but
anything
just
away.
where their relationship starts. Whoop, I hear Bob. Where my relationship starts and where the relationship starts and then where it goes. It's just an incredible ride, and they're both great, but he is just phenomenal.
Okay, so that's One Day on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm curious to see. Now, I actually made a list of 10. How many are on your list?
I think I have 10.
Do you?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
10.
So
Yeah.
let's see where we overlap, because there's definitely going to be overlap. Tell me a couple of yours that you think. Like, I have True Detective Night Country on
I
mine.
have that as well.
Jodie Foster, Callie Reese, who I love. John Hawkes is great in that. The amazing thing about that show is I kept thinking this is going to turn out to be some supernatural thing. And in reality, it was truth, and it was explained without any special powers, which I thought was amazing. Amazing.
And it really made you think at the end, what was that? A lot of times when a movie leaves me with that, I'm like, oh, come on. Don't show me the credits. I want to know.
Yeah.
But it really was up to interpretation, which worked for me.
Yeah, it totally worked for me. Is Hacks on your list?
Hacks is on my list. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. We had Paul W. Downs, who's one of the showrunners and actually won the Emmy this year. Hannah Einbinder is terrific. And of course, Gene Smart. I just think that's a brilliant career capping performance. What's interesting is, as a stand-up, you're okay with it. Like, she pulls off the stand-up for you.
Totally.
Wow. That's a tribute.
Yeah. She was great.
Okay, here's another one I know is on your list. Ripley.
Yes.
Andrew Scott is so good. Dakota Fanning as Marge. It's that moody, black and white, beautiful cinematography. Even though I knew the story, I felt like this is a new take on it. It's a fresh, new take on it. And I love the old movie. I never read the book, but I love the old movie. And this series is every bit as good. I'm trying
And
to see
so
if there's
and actually beautiful to look at too.
Oh, no
It was
question.
shot. It was gorgeous.
Is Baby Reindeer on your list?
Baby Reindeer, yes.
Which is such a great show. So weird. Because completely unlike anything I've ever seen. Richard Gadd, this is sort of based on something that happened in his life, plays Donnie Dunn, and then Jessica Gunning won the Emmy for playing Martha, who's the stalker in this story. Really weird, really unusual, really unlike anything I've ever seen. Baby Reindeer. It's already won a whole bunch of awards, so we're not exactly breaking news here. All right, what else you got on the list?
I have Day of the Jackal.
Me too.
How much fun was that?
Oh, well, it's not even over yet. There's still I think there's one episode left.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I guess because I came to it a little bit later, so
Yeah.
I thought it was over. I was like, it can't be over.
Yeah, it is absolutely great. I love Eddie Redmayne in that, and Lashana Lynch. It's funny. I have this debate with Juan when we're watching the show. I think Lashana Lynch, who is supposedly the good guy, is terrible. I hate the stuff she does. The ends do not justify the means. That's sort of my general take on it. So I actually root for the Eddie Redmayne character and root against the good guy, the Lashana Lynch character.
It's kind of a departure for him too. I mean,
Yeah.
I at first I was like, oh, this is kind of an odd film for him to be cast in, but
Yes,
he's so good, and it's got kind of like a Bondian feel to
it
it.
does. The credits, the opening
Mhm.
credits are very
And
James Bond.
and even the theme song.
Yeah, very James Bond. Yeah, yeah. I love the show. I'll be sorry when it's over, but it is great. All right, what else is on the list?
Bad Sisters.
Don't know that show. Explain.
Bad Sisters is a Black Irish comedy that takes place, obviously, in Ireland. Sharon Horgan?
Horgan,
She
yeah.
Horgan. She did that show, Catastrophe. She created that show, and she starred in
Right.
that show. Um, it's 5 sisters that, that just get themselves in so much trouble. There's a lot of, I don't wanna I don't wanna give it away, but
Yeah.
it's just their relationship and the shenanigans that they go through, and the writing is just phenomenal. I mean, Sharon Horgan, her oh god, she's just such an incredible writer.
Yeah.
And the casting is great, and scenically, it's beautiful. It's in Ireland, but it's a really, really great. I think you'd really like it.
And that one is streaming where?
That is on Apple.
On Apple. It's so hard to keep the streaming services straight.
I know.
No,
Well, Tom
which
and
one's
I
on which one?
Tom and I had in the beginning, when all these streamers started to happen, we had a little notebook, and we would put where like what's like 2 old people, and we'd put, what show was on what platform, and then and we were like really conscientious about what episode we were up to, because then we would leave and we would watch something
And you
else,
forget where
and I
you were
forget,
in the
and then
show.
we'd be like, okay, well, let's go back to it, and then we'd start watching. And it's like, we saw this episode.
Yeah, it's
already.
exactly. Yeah, it's hard to keep it all straight.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is on your list?
Disclaimer.
See, I tried Disclaimer and it didn't work for me. This is the Kate Blanchett series. Why do you like
And
it?
Kevin Kline. I love the story, and I love the acting. I wasn't crazy about Sacha Baron Cohen. I just didn't believe him until the very end.
Ugh.
His last moments were so real, but Kevin Kline was really great, and I'm like, it's crazy how I don't remember his wife. The woman who played his wife was in The Crown. She played Princess Margaret. Later on.
Helena Bonham Carter? No, Margaret Qualley.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is great. And I just love where the story took me, because I didn't expect it to go where it went. So it was a really, really, it was a great surprise. Yeah, I loved it.
Okay. And that's on Apple Plus.
That is on Apple. Yes.
Okay.
What else? Oh, I only watched the first episode last night, but
Okay.
I'm in love with this show. It's called The Empress.
No, I don't know it.
It's on Netflix. It's a historical fiction that takes place in Vienna.
Okay.
and it's this rebellious woman ends up with the emperor,
Mm.
and she's unfiltered, especially for that time period.
Right,
She
right.
just speaks her mind. It's why he actually fell in love with her. It's not who his mother wanted him to be with. And it's not who the her family wanted someone else in the family to be the empress. Um, it's a really great, and it's just great to look at. The costumes are amazing. This scenically, it's beautiful, and the lead woman in it is just she's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
And where's that streaming?
that is on Netflix.
On Netflix. Okay. Rattle through I can see our guest here, so rattle through the rest of your list.
Okay, Somebody Somewhere on HBO.
Don't know
Have
it?
you seen it? You gotta
No.
watch it. It's
Okay.
great. Um, Fargo.
I didn't see this. Is this the John Hamm Fargo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I'm
people
probably
love it.
I'm probably over, but one other show that I really liked. I really liked Mr. and Mrs. Smith too.
Yeah, I watched the first episode, really liked it, never went back to it because I forgot the show and where it was on and stuff like that. All right, let me see what's on my list here. Penguin Hacks, Ripley, Day of the Jackal, True Detective. So those are all on the list. Presumed Innocent, the Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal series, I thought was
Mhm.
really fun.
Mhm.
Peter Sarsgaard in kind of a hammy role. Ruth Negga's terrific in it. It had a surprise ending, which I will not give away. The Bear is on my list, even though it's not my favorite season of The Bear. I love the actors, especially Liza Colon-Zayas, who plays Tina, had a wonderful standalone episode, which I really loved. She won the Emmy for that. So The Bear still hanging in there. Tulsa King, which is a show, Sue, I don't think you would like.
I
It's kind
watched it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
I did like it. It wasn't on my top 10, but I enjoyed it actually.
I
It's a
thought it
fun
was
show.
so much fun.
And
I think
he's fun.
he
Sylvester Stallone is so fun in that role, and
he
that's
really is.
also kind of a departure for him, and he was delightful in it.
Yeah, he's great. Taylor Sheridan, that's one of his. I'm gonna watch the next one. The next Taylor Sheridan is called The Landman. It's
Looks
with
good.
Demi Moore and Billy Bob Thornton. I want to check that out.
I think John Hamm's in that too.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, he
I think
is. You're
so.
right. And my last one, and this is totally out of the box. On Peacock, there was like a very short, limited series. I think it was 6 episodes called Mr. Throwback. It stars Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors, who is great, and Adam Pally, who we've had on the show, who is terrific, and Ego Nwodim is fantastic too. It is one of the favorite shows of the year, and such a funny, easy, breezy comedy that I totally dug. And Steph Curry, way to go. The guy can act. He played it perfectly.
Oh, I never heard of it. Great.
Yeah, I mean, the episodes are like 22 minutes. There's only 6 of them. It's awesome. It's really, really fun. So there you have it. There is the best in television for 2024, according to us. Hey, if you are listening, if you're watching, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment or a review or a show idea or your favorite TV shows of 2024. You can give us your list. If you're listening on Apple or on Spotify, subscribe to the show. Big points if you leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And if you have a friend that would appreciate this show, you know who they are. Make sure you tell them, because we're always looking for new viewers and new listeners. All right now, let's talk about Google Trends for 2024. What are the most Googled names and terms for the year? We are joined by Sarah Armstrong, who's part of the Google Communications team. Sarah, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So end of the year, you are with the Google communications team, so you know all the secret inside information about the trends and the names and all the stuff that has been searched for this year. I actually want to ask you, how do you guys do that? How do you analyze and categorize the year's top trends and names?
Yeah, so we're looking at aggregate anonymous search data in the US over the entire year, and we're particularly interested in those searches that had the biggest increase from 2023 to 2024 to see what was unique about this year.
Hmm. It's kind of like it feels like Nielsen ratings for everything.
Exactly. And we dive into some interesting topics. Of course, there's like people and big news events, but we also like to look at what movies were popular this year. Are there internet slang terms that are rising this year that weren't rising last year? So it kind of gives you a nice look on the culture.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we don't do politics around here, but it's clear that the biggest search of the year was the election, right?
Absolutely. The election, huge topic this year. I'm sure I wasn't alone Googling for the latest news stories around that. Our people list this year, usually actors and athletes dominate that list. This year, it was candidates. But then we also saw a lot around like extreme weather events, big sports year. We saw a lot of those searches. Connections, the New York Times game, that was third after the election and the president-elect on our top trending searches. So it's kind of interesting to see how it's all over the board.
It's weird, like in people, Usher is like one of the most popular searches. And I look at who he's coupled with, and it's like, where did that come from? Like, do you ever think like why this person?
Absolutely. So Usher, he is our top trending musician of the year. He did the Super Bowl halftime show this year. So that's
Mhm.
when we saw that huge spike for him. I was initially surprised because, he's not as contemporary as he used to be, but that Super Bowl gave him a big jump. And then we also see folks like Kendrick Lamar and Drake on the list because they had their big rap beef this year.
Yeah, and I'm looking. What's interesting is no Taylor Swift on the list.
It's a really good question. It's one that I get a lot. Taylor Swift, she's always very popular, so it's not unique that she's trending in 2024. We didn't see a big spike on her because she's always very popular. We did see more searches for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, those two together, but Taylor Swift always highly searched.
So those musicians, Usher number one because of the Super Bowl halftime show, Diddy because of Diddy and all the stuff that's going on there.
Mhm.
Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, Drake, of course, they had the feud with Kendrick Lamar, Justin Timberlake, who I saw in concert this year, who was awesome. He's on tour. Sabrina Carpenter, who had a gigantic year. Chappell Roan, who's like one of the great young up and coming musicians right now. And then Tracy Chapman. I'm assuming this is from the Grammys where she performed Fast Car with Luke Combs, right?
That is exactly right, and that's one of our top trending performances of the year. When people are looking for a performance to watch, that is one of them, and one of our top trending songs of the year. And back to Drake and Kendrick, if we're looking at search interests to see who might have won that feud, it seems like folks sided with Kendrick because 3 of our top 4 trending songs were songs he put out from that feud.
Hmm. So movies. Let's go to movies. So we have Inside Out 2,
Yeah,
Beetlejuice. It Ends with Us, Saltburn, which we loved. Dune. Steve's part of the Dune universe. I
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I
I
love Dune
haven't.
Part Two.
Twisters.
Yep,
Hmm.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Glenn Powell, he's very popular. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Gigantic.
Gigantic. Despicable Me 4. Terrifier. I don't even know that.
Oh, that's a really nasty horror movie, right, Sarah?
right, and it's not one that I will see.
No, me
But
either.
it
I don't
seems like
see
other
that
people
stuff.
search for it.
And then Alien Romulus, for some reason, a very bad sequel to a great series of films, when made number 10. But I guess what jumps out at me is the blockbusters I understand. Inside Out 2, Beetlejuice. What I'm surprised at is that Saltburn is on the list. It was very controversial. It was a really interesting film. We both loved it. But it must be the controversy surrounding the movie that put it on the list, right?
Right, and it was so popular on social media, so sometimes, movies might spill into another year just because they resurge back on social media. There's some sort of trend or an actor's really popular. Jacob Elordi is one of our top trending actors, so Saltburn was big. I think similarly with social media, It Ends With Us, not just a popular movie, but had a very controversial press tour. There were disputes between the director and lead actor. And so lots of people on social media wondering what was happening there. And I think that conversation then drove more search interest in that.
So, like from the beginning of the year, from January to December, do you start to see like do people kind of like fall off? Like you see somebody kind of being popular, and then all of a sudden they don't. Like I look at Mike Tyson for athletes, and even in people, he's on that list. Um, was Mike Tyson? Did he become um, a name that people started to look at because of the recent fight that he had?
You're exactly right. So if we looked at the lists earlier in the year, they would look really different. But then as these big events happen and there's huge spikes for certain people, that puts them way higher on the list. That's why we see Mike Tyson so high up there. It was that fight with Jake Paul.
Okay, TV shows is fascinating because number one is Griselda, a show I watched and really liked. It's Sofia Vergara, but I'm surprised that that would be number one on the list. Why do you think?
I was also surprised about that, and, it's the top 3 on this list, so we have Griselda, Quiet on Set, and Baby Reindeer. Those are all based on or rooted in true events. I would
Yes.
expect in an election year, maybe a little bit more escapism from this list, but it seems like true stories are really capturing folks' attention. So Griselda being number 1. Baby Reindeer, I haven't watched yet, but I'm definitely interested. I know
Oh
that's
my
sort of like
God,
a
it is
thriller
crazy.
stalker. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually just talked about it we just did a piece on our favorite TV shows of the year, and both of us have that as one of them. By the way, also on that list, Your Honor, which is interesting because it came out originally like 3 years ago. And it went to Netflix and became popular, more popular than it was when it was on Showtime, and now it shows up on this list. That's an interesting road to go to become one of the most trending shows of 2024.
Right, that is interesting. I mean, I think there are a number of these shows that kind of had interesting paths. I mean, I look at the fallout in number 4, this trend of, like, video games
Yes.
becoming shows, that seems to be more and more popular, and I wonder if we'll keep seeing that in the next year.
We should touch on actors, Cat Williams, Jacob Elordi, who I get, Glenn Powell, Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, Shane Gillis, sort of right-leaning comic, was in the news this year. Hugh Jackman, I'm trying to think. Oh, of course, Deadpool
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Barry Keoghan for doing that dance at the end of Saltburn, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, Barry also dated Sabrina Carpenter this year, and
oh,
she is one of our big musicians on the list. She has some songs in our top trending songs, so it's interesting how these celebrities dating or maybe a press tour, how they interact, with the news and then continue to rise
They're
on the
both
list.
number 7 in their category, so I don't know if there's like a pissing contest that was going on with the 2 of them.
Oh, wow, there you go. Their respective fans, and I know now they broke up, so maybe their fans are continuing to surge, and we'll see them even higher next year.
so, sports teams, the Dodgers are number 2, which, I consider that to be outrageous. I don't know why the Yankees would be number 1. It's the 2 World Series teams that are at the, top of the list, which makes sense. And Sue's favorite team, team that went to the, National League Championship Series, the Mets, are number 3 on the list. They were the 3 most captivating baseball teams of the year for sure. And then it goes NBA after that. Number 7, Indiana Fever. Now that's all Caitlin Clark.
You're absolutely right. She's also one of our top trending athletes throughout this year. We're always looking at these trends, and the WNBA women's basketball was way more popular across the board this year, and Caitlin Clark had definitely had something to do with that.
I love
So
this. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
Good. I was going to say internet theories. I don't know any of these theories. Do you know any of them? Like, what is the burnt toast theory?
That's a heart. Isn't that like a stroke or a heart attack or is it a stroke? Burnt toast?
That I know where you're going with that. Like if you smell burnt toast, then that. So that's not what this theory is referring to. A lot of these theories are dating theories that are popular on the internet. Burnt toast is a little bit different. It's the idea that if something goes wrong in your day, maybe you start the day and you burn your toast, it causes you to be late. That actually might be, though it's inconvenient, saving you from something that might have happened later in the day. So you're late getting out the door, but then you miss, miss like a car crash you might have been in or something that bad could have happened. So it's sort of like the universe watching over you is the burnt toast theory.
Wow. I have a superstition that if I leave my house and forget something, I go back. But when I go back, I have to sit down. And it's something that my mother did growing up.
Wow.
And if I don't sit down, then something bad might
That's some
happen.
serious neurosis is what that is.
Well, it's working for you. So,
Yeah.
if you do burn your toast or you have to go back, then maybe not such a bad thing. That second area theory on the list, it's orange peel theory. And this is where we start to get into these dating theories. This was popular on social media. It's a lot of girls giving their boyfriends an orange, asking them to peel it for them. And if they do peel it for them, then they're a keeper. And if not, then the relationship is doomed. Is
that really a theory?
Wow.
Yeah, I think the bar's a little low, that if peeling an orange is the kindest thing to indicate if a relationship is strong, but it was very popular online.
Oh, you would think calling you back.
Yeah. No, true.
Opening your door, your car door, letting you in first.
Right, it's the new opening your car door, it's peeling your orange for you.
Here's an orange. What about October theory?
Yeah, October theory is more just you wanna start, getting your life together for the next year in October, so you might be setting goals for January for 2025, but you wanna lay the groundwork in October, so start getting your goals together. If you wanna work out more in the new year, like, start doing it in October, because then you're setting yourself up for success by the time you get to
Sarah, do you know
2025.
all these theories?
Okay, I don't know all of them, but I am chronically online, so I know, a little too many, I would say.
Too many. Okay.
Well, I wish I knew this in October.
Yeah, you're getting a late start.
Exactly. We have a couple weeks left. One that really made me laugh is the last on the list. It's blue nail theory, and it's the idea that if someone asks their boyfriend, "What color should I paint my nails?" they will always say blue. And people kept trying this and filming their boyfriends, and
Why would we all say blue?
it seems like not everybody, but a shocking number of men would say blue, and then it blew up online as a
Can I
theory that they'll always say blue.
just say, as a dude here, I would request blue. I do like blue.
Well,
You would
blue
do
is
blue?
blue is such a boy favorite. I mean, growing up, it was blue for boys, red for girls. But never for me. I'm green. I'm green all the way.
I love green too.
Okay, now this last one I want to get to is the terms, and I don't know the meaning of really any of these. The number one term is demure.
Demure.
Now, what
Demure.
I know what demure normally means, but I assume it means something else.
So it is what it normally means, but it became very popular this year because there was a creator online who would anything that she was doing, maybe it's like boarding a flight or doing her nails, whatever it was, she would describe herself as very demure, very mindful, very cutesy, not doing too much. So instead of, taking up a lot of space and being really crazy, like being very subtle and put together. And so that became a very popular thing to say online. It's sort of the opposite of, maybe you've heard brat in Brat Summer.
It's the opposite of brat.
Yeah, I would consider those two on different ends of the spectrum. Demure came first, or no, maybe brat came first, and then so it was sort of Brat Summer into Demure Fall is what people were saying.
Okay, got it. How about just give me my money?
Yeah, that's an odd one. I had to look that one up. It was kind of a social media trend where people would say would say the phrase "Give me my money," and everyone would clap, and there would be one person that's not in on it, and once they would say it, that person wouldn't clap.
Oh, I
And
actually got tricked into this
oh, did
by
you?
somebody. I did. I got totally suckered into the give me my money thing. Now I know exactly what it is. I was the only one that did give me my money, and everybody was silent afterward. Oh God,
Okay,
that
you
makes
experienced it
perfect sense.
firsthand.
I
There you
did. I
go.
did not know it was a thing, but they totally punked me on it.
Yeah. Another internet uh thing on here that caught my attention was the Gen Alpha slang is starting to surpass the Gen Z slang, if you can believe it. So this is
So
the
Gen Alpha
generation.
is like young.
Yes, so they're maybe 12. They're the generation after Gen Z. They have their own slang. And so when we're looking at searches, like, is this a real word? We see words like Sigma, skibbity. That's all Gen Alpha.
Do
God,
we know what any
my parents had to deal with Pig Latin. They have no idea what we were talking
do
about.
we have any idea what those things mean that you just said?
Okay, so my understanding is that Sigma is like a cool guy, and skibbity is just a funny word that can be inserted in sort of any sentence to make it
That sounds like
funnier.
kids. That sounds
Yeah,
like kids doing that.
right.
Skibbity.
What
Um,
There are
what
some mhm.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's some more Gen Z words on this list though, like Riz is on there.
of
Uh,
course. Even I
yes.
know that one.
Would yeah, that one's been very popular. We see Demir come up again. Unserious is sort of a very internet thing where, Gen Z will be like, "Oh, our generation is so unserious," which is just not serious, but folks looking up, "Oh, is that actually a word?"
What's 17 diapers?
Oh, this
17
is yeah, what is 17 diapers? That's under trend
Yeah.
meaning.
So that another, internet trend, this came from a creator who is a new mom and posted, her living space and said that there were 17 diapers laying around because being a new mom is so hectic, and it created a conversation online like, "Okay, is that too hectic? Is that out of control?" Or a lot of other new moms really relating and saying, "Yes, my space is also wild." And so they were posting their own crazy new mom states online.
I thought best performances of the year or most searched performances of the year is interesting because number one is from the Olympics. It is the world famous break dancer Raygun, who never really did any breaking. And she had a very unusual style, and we all talked and joked about it all summer long. Raygun. So I'm not surprised she was number one. Ryan Gosling, number two for his performance at the Oscars. He was terrific at the Oscars, I think.
Oh, I loved him at the Oscars. Yeah, on Reagan, we also saw a lot of, Reagan Halloween costume searches, so she became very popular this year, but yeah, the "I'm Just Ken," that kind of kept the Barbie searches going even longer into this year.
Yeah. Um, what one last thing grab you out of this list?
You know, I like looking at some of the like how often searches, you see how often is the solar eclipse, how often is Copa America, because you realize, oh, these are some kind of unique events that happened this year. There's a solar eclipse that went straight across the US. We saw a lot more interest in soccer than we usually do from Americans because Copa
Copa America
America
was this year. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and held in the US, so, I'm excited for next year when our people list will hopefully have a few more actors and athletes because that's what I love talking about. I'm ready for Wicked to be on
Yeah.
this list. I know it
Did you
seems
like
surprising
Wicked?
it's not on there. I loved Wicked. I saw it
I
twice.
You saw it
absolutely
twice?
loved it too.
Mhm.
I have a friend who's going this afternoon with someone who's seeing it for the 3rd time.
Oh, really? I should go with them. I feel like there's just no shortage of seeing Wicked. I've been listening to the soundtrack. It's not on the list because the cutoff for the data was just a little bit too late, but we'll have the second movie next year, so I definitely expect it to be on there.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. So appreciate you coming on. Really interesting stuff. Year-end terms, searches, all that stuff from Google. Thank you very much for doing this, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you both.
There you have it. There's Sarah Armstrong. Some of that stuff I find surprising. What was the most surprising thing on this list, Sue?
Um, hmm.
I'm surprised. I'll just be honest. I'm surprised that 𝐀𝐫𝐽 𝐿𝐻 is so high on the actors list,
Right.
but Saltburn was a real thing.
Taylor
'Cause
Swift,
Barry
like
Keoghan's there too.
yeah, right. Like we talked, you talked about Sarah Taylor Swift with her, and that was shocking to me that she wasn't on a list, except when she was with Travis Kelce. So,
Yeah, you're very demure, by the way,
oh well, thank you.
which I think is good.
It can be good.
It can be good, yeah.
I don't think it's a negative thing.
No, it's the opposite of brat, though. You know what brat is, right?
Brat.
That
Yeah,
term?
yeah. And what's your definition of brat?
My definition of brat is it is a woman who likes to have fun, parties a little bit, but is kind of a mess. That's my definition of brat.
Yeah, and it's funny how words that I grew up with have different meanings now. Like, we would call someone a brat a long time ago if they were unruly.
Right.
So I mean, but it wasn't dedicated just to a woman. It was anybody could be a brat. A
Any
guy could
little
be a
kid
brat.
can be a brat, yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
But
Not well
now
behaved.
but now, like you're a little brat.
Yeah, you
You
think?
are. Yeah, sure. You like
Hmm.
to have a good time, like to party a little bit. Sometimes a little bit of a mess. You're brat.
I'm a little bit of a mess sometimes.
Sure, you are sometimes. Anytime
Wow.
we're getting ready for the show, technically,
Hey, don't
when
me.
you when you're
You're
trying to plug everything in.
Well, you're like, "Oh god, I can't oh, it's you. I can't hear you." And it's like, "No, it's you that I can't hear. There's something wrong on your end."
We have such a loose understanding of technology here at the Culture Pop Podcast. We spend about 15 minutes before every show trying to make sure that our mics are working and our headphones are working and all the
Sometimes
plugs are plugged in.
and sometimes it's like our guests are coming on in like a minute and we still don't have it figured out.
No,
It's like, what are we
so
going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to be
it's
able to do it?
complicated. It's complicated.
I'm really glad that we don't have any ability for like the bomb, Like
Oh God, that's so funny. Well, listen, this is our year-end show. That means we wish you the very best holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Also, a Happy New Year. We'll be back in 2025, better than ever. It'll be award season, so we will have good stuff for you then. Thank you very much for watching it and for listening in 2024. We will be back next year. Sue Ballou, great seeing you. And we will see everybody next time on the Culture Pop Podcast.